अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला सय्यिदिना व मौलाना मुहम्मद व अला आलि सय्यिदिना व मौलाना मुहम्मद व बारिक वसल्लम. My dear student, this is Yasin Ahmad Minai. I am about to start my lecture on statistical inference. So before uh, start studying the concept of statistical inference, let me give you a brief about the difference between descriptive and inferential statistics. As you have already studied your descriptive statistics in Introduction to Statistics course. So after crossing the bridge of probability, one can get into the domain of inferential statistics. So this is a simple process cycle. Descriptive statistics lead us towards the concept of probability, and after getting the concept of probability, it will be easy for us to grab some concept of inferential statistics, जिसके अंदर कुछ hypothesis testing modules होते हैं, estimation वगैरह के concept भी इसमें मौजूद हैं. So starting with the beginning, it is not always about directly going into the course, but to have a simple recap. तो एक frequency distribution के केस से मैं यहाँ पर start करता हूँ, and it is about 37 freshmen in a university, and the frequency table has been presented here like this, and the graph, I've used the midpoint approach over here, and the graph we have used to plot a frequency distribution is said to be the histogram. Here is the histogram, and always remember that in the horizontal axis of a histogram there is always measurements of the variables like ages and years, right? And on the y-axis the frequency or the observation recursion individuals or public in short is scaled on y-axis. It is scaled. Actually, where is the public? The public is under these red bars, and these bars are forming a normal distribution type distribution. Here we are having a simple problem about extracting the proportion of students having 17.9 and 18.1 years. So it will be easy for us to see the frequency is written in front of 17.9 and 18.1, which is 9 and 10. So we sum the values 9 plus 10 divided by 37, and we can get the result like this. So 51.3%, seems to be a simple majority. So based on this sample, we can say a simple majority of freshmen are around 18 years old, right? So what happen if we just increase the sample size up to 500? So the possible frequency table will be like this. So it is more in length, more categories are being added, and the histogram, it seems to be like again the normal distribution. The bars are thinner, and if we ask the same question again, can we determine the proportion of students having ages 17.9 and 18.1 years? So by observing this table, we have to sum up 4 values over here. Now 46 plus 53 plus 54 plus 54 divided by 500 is equal to 41.4% empirical probability है. 41.4%, पहले तो 51 थी, जाहिर है कि precision improve हो गया because the sample size got raised. And eventually, if we further raise the sample size up to 5,000, then what will happen? Now I am unable to show you the frequency table because the length of frequency table isn't fit in this particular slide, but I can show you the histogram, and the histogram is like this, and the bars are further thinner, and the categories or measurement values are having 2 decimal places accuracy. So now it is difficult for us to observe the same proportion of students having 17.9 and 18.1 years, and if we further raise the sample size around 20,000, so the situation of histogram like this. So for this purpose, in order to get the same proportion of 17.9 to 18.1 years old student, we have to advanced our learning concept, and which is nothing but the density estimation approach. It is also called the PDF approach, probability density function. You might have studied probability density function in your introduction to statistics class, और discrete random variable में जब पढ़ा होगा आपने binomial distribution, Poisson distribution, तो उनमें भी PDF होते हैं. But the PDF of continuous distribution seems to be like a curve. Now see, you can see a curve has been superimposed on the histogram, and since we discovered the function, which is not visible over here right now, but if we do not have the function, we cannot have this particular curve. So since we are having a curve, we are having function somewhere hidden, and now we can get the proportion of the probability like 17.9 less than equals to x less than equals to 18.1 can be solved by using the concept of definite integral of calculus. So by integrating the function around these limits, we can get the answer. So it is necessary for us to go into the domain of calculus because the categories are being more due to the increment in sample size. So we have discussed the difference between discrete and continuous variable. It is a time to have some concept of discrete and continuous variable, the difference between discrete and continuous variable. So what are discrete variable in your mind? What is the difference? What is the definition of discrete variable? So better to have an example over here. Okay, example of a discrete variable may we can take our start like this. I am providing a domain to you where x varies from 0 to 1, and the width is right now, since it is discrete, so we can specify a width. The width is 1, then the possible values of x will be 0 and 1, right? So can we sum these values? Yes, it is very easy. We can sum the values. 0 plus 1 is equals to 1. What if we just drop down the width up to 0.5? Then the possible values of x will be 0, 0.5 and 1. Now still, are you able to sum? Yes, obviously it is easy. If we sum these three values, the answer will be 0 plus 0.5 plus 1 is equals to 1.5. What if I give you the same task, but this time the width value is 0.1? Then now we are having more values, right? Are you still able to sum? The task become a bit complicated, right? I'm not saying it is difficult, but it is a complicated task now. So if we just sum the values, we can get the answer 5.5. And finally, if I give you the same task, but this time the width is almost 0, right? It is 0.0001. What will be the possible values of x? Now the values of x are more and more in number, right? वो कहते हैं ना कैसे कैसे गुल मुरझाए, कैसे कैसे बाग जले, सदियों में भी कह न सकेंगे लम्हों के अफसाने लोग. कि अगर मैं यहाँ पर विड्थ की वैल्यू 0.0001 के बजाय कर दूं 10 रेज़ टू पावर -10, देन तो जाहिर है यही वाली बात हो जाएगी. तो अगेन कैन वी सम दीज वैल्यूज? यकीनन ये मैनुअली पॉसिबल नहीं है. दैट्स व्हाई वी हैव टू यूज द हेल्प ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी. टेक द हेल्प ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी, and by using the MS Excel software, I have calculated the sum, which is now 5000.5. Now the question is, why we are getting higher sum by decrease in the width value? Do you have any answer? Let me tell you, because the width is decreasing but the length remains the same because we are using the unit length. Obviously the function is missing, so it is the time to describe a function of x as well. So I have described the function of x. Function of x is equals to x. Simple function है ये. तो जब हमने function को describe कर दिया, तो now we are able to plot this function. So let's plot the function. So we are moving towards the graphical approach. The domain of x is again from 0 to 1. The h is 1. Possible values of x are 0 and 1. Function of x is equals to x. What will be the possible functional values? Yaqinan, function of 0 is equals to 0 and function of 1 is equals to 1. And then we can get a table. जब ये table हमारे पास आ गया तो we can also plot it. So we plot it. So it is a straight line, right? But look closer. This seems to be like a triangle. If we just make a triangle, so we can see a rectangle triangle in front of us. Do you remember how to find the area of a triangle? Yes, you are right. It is the reading of base multiplied by the reading of height and divided by 2. So the base reading is 1. The height is also 1. So what will be the area? The area is 1 into 1 divided by 2 is equals to 0.5. This is actual area of this triangle. But if we try to calculate the same amount of area using the discrete variable approach, to see how it works. Again, I am giving you the task of the domain of x from 0 to 1, h is equals to 1, and function of x is equals to x. Functional values are the same, but this time a discrete graph might be comprising of only one bar, and this bar is having the width 1 and the unit length as well. So it is a square actually. What is the area of this square? It is 1 into 1, it is equals to 1. But what was the actual area? That was 0.5. So this extra area has been added because the value of width is 1. So in order to increase some precision, we can drop down the value of width. Let's have this experiment too. H is equals to 0.5. The values of possible values of x will be 0, 0.5 and 1. And the same function of x values will also appear because the function of x is also x. So now what will be the graph? Now again we are having two rectangular bars, and we are having in combined we can have the area of this rectangle plus area of this rectangle. This will give us the answer of the total area. So first area can be calculated by using 0.5 multiplied by 0.5 plus 0.5 multiplied by 1, and here is the answer 0.75. What was the actual answer? The actual answer was 0.5. Now it is still 0.75. Why? Because these additional areas are being added as a residual, because the width is still 0.5. What if we just drop down the value of width further to 0.25? Then the possible values of x will be now from 0 to 1, like 0, 0.25, 0.5, 0.75 and 1. And so as the functional values, because the function of x is again x. What will be the bar graph? Now the bar graphs are having 4 rectangles, and the combined area can be computed by taking the individual areas, and then all areas should be summed up. The first area will be 0.25 multiplied by 0.25 plus 0.25 multiplied by 0.5 and so on. So let's compute the area. So after computing the area, you can also pause the video and compute the area by yourself and check the result. The final result is 0.625, but the original result was again 0.5. So it is, although it is closer, but it is not accurate. Why it is not accurate? Because some of the residual areas are also being added, because the width is 0.25. So what we should do? Either we drop down the width by 0.1, 0.02, 0.001. So it will make our work more difficult conventionally. So that's why we have to enter into the domain of continuous variable, and calculus will help us to calculate the same area accurately. Now continuous variable में mathematical approach पे लेके चल रहा हूँ मैं आपको. Same domain, same function, but instead of making the functional value table, we have to integrate. We can integrate this function along with this limit 0 to 1. So area under the curve can be found by integrating the function of x over the domain of 0 and 1. It is a simple integration, right? Simple integral. What is the integral of x? Obviously, it is x square upon 2. The answer will be x square upon 2, and the limit will be applied after putting the first limit into the value position of x minus the minimum value of the limit onto the same value divided by 2, and we can get the answer, which is equals to 1 square upon 2 minus 0 square upon 2 is equals to 0.5. Remember, this is the same area of a triangle we have extracted earlier some slides ago. Now let's clear us the concept of continuous variable. क्योंकि continuous variables हमारे पास होते हैं, लिहाजा हम लोग किसी भी वक्त कंटिन्यूस वेरिएबल कैलकुलस को यूज करते हुए कंटिन्यूस वेरिएबल से डील कर सकते हैं। और याद रखें, कंटिन्यूस वेरिएबल कब कंटिन्यूस होता है? व्हेन द विड्थ इज आइदर अनस्पेसिफाइड, जब h की वैल्यू पता ही ना हो तो वेरिएबल कंटिन्यूस है, और अगर h की वैल्यू इतनी कम हो, इतनी मिनिमम हो कि कन्वेंशनल मेथड को हम यूज ही ना कर सकें, तो ऐसी सूरत में भी हम कंटिन्यूस वेरिएबल की तरफ जाते हैं। तो इन द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड I will proper start the concept of continuous probability density function. Stay tuned. Thank you.